When it comes to living or working with dogs, we often hear that exercise is number one. And I don't agree with that. I believe that exercise is not as important as we've been taught or that we hear. And some people, when I am talking against exercise, they can't hear or understand what I'm actually saying. So I'm hoping to get into this a little bit more, hopefully be more clear on my perspective. So when I talk against exercise, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go walk with your dog, go for hikes. If you're a runner, you shouldn't run with your dog. I'm not saying this. What I'm talking about is how we approach these physical activities, the exercise, why we're doing it, can actually be creating and feeding into the problem that we are experiencing. So people will say, Scott, my dog has so much energy, they require a lot of exercise. I need to burn or drain the energy. But when you really take a look at this, it makes no sense, because if you start running a mile today and you stick with it, you're going to be able to run 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles. You are going to be able to do more. You will gain more energy, more endurance, more stamina. And so when we have a dog that has a lot of energy and then you're feeding it, you're creating more of it. And saying that, yes, this is what's required. This is how we need to feel and behave within these situations. And so I don't approach things like that. When I hear a dog has a lot of energy, I think of a dog that's not socializing properly, they're not regulating properly, they don't understand what we're really looking for within that environment, within that context. So I say this all the time. When I was a kid or even as an adult, I didn't have to run laps before I went to read books. If I went into the library with the energy, like I could be running laps, they didn't send me to the track. They told me to knock that off. They made me feel like, oh, it's not in my best interest to have all this energy and to be coming off in the way that I am. So I would regulate myself for that environment, that situation, so that I didn't get in trouble. And so if I have a dog and they have a lot of energy, I'm like that librarian. Tell them to knock it off. So then they learn to regulate themselves in that environment, in that situation, and so they calm themselves down. And so you shouldn't be exercising your dog because they have a lot of energy. I don't want to be throwing balls, sticks, frisbees, things for them to chase. I don't want to be giving them stuffed animals and squeaky toys and doing the flirt pull. I don't want to be roughhousing, playing chase or tug of war with them. I don't want to bring out the predatory side, the assertive, dominant, and aggressive side of the dog. Because that is not what I'm looking for when I have a pet, companion dog. I want a calm, social dog. One that's sweet and loving. And so we got to be aware of what we're doing and why and how dogs interpret these things, how nature works, so that the way that we approach it actually makes sense and aligns with what we're looking for. And so I believe that when we look at exercise, physical activity, that it's good. But how we go about it might not be. So again, you could go for a walk with your dog. You can go run with your dog. You can go for a hike. You can allow your dog to socialize with other dogs. But how we go about this matters. And so, let me know if you have any questions or any comments, and we'll continue to dive into this. But hopefully this makes things a little bit more clear. There's a lot of layers to these things, and I want to make sure that I'm answering people's questions and clearing up any misunderstandings.